Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are listening to the other side. You're welcome. I'm Rimamnde Shawulu. We have been following international news. We have heard something like Europe has changed its migration doors. Some people immediately concluded Europe has closed its doors. Others claim Nigerians, some even said anyone arriving illegally will simply be deported. But what is the truth? Have the laws really changed? Who do they affect? Will Nigerians studying in Europe be affected? How about skilled workers? How about people escaping persecution? And what does all this mean for the thousands of Africans planning to migrate? Today we separate facts from speculation.
Mr. Asmani, on a common system for the return of third country nationals staying illegal in the Union. The return regulation. Adopted. The first reading of Parliament is closed. Vote on consent by roll call vote. The vote is open.
Why did Europe change its migration policies? For almost 10 years, migration has become one of Europe's biggest political issues. Beginning with the 2015 migration crisis, more than 1 million people crossed into Europe through the Mediterranean Sea. Most arrived through Italy, Greece, Malta, and Spain. Many of those migrants then moved onwards to Germany, France, Belgium, Australia, the Netherlands, and Scandinavia. The system became overwhelmed. Frontline countries complained that they had been abandoned. Northern European countries complained that migrants kept moving despite existing rules. European governments argued that asylum systems are too slow, border controls too weak, and deportations of rejected applicants too difficult. After years of negotiation, the European Union adopted a comprehensive pact on migration and asylum, which entered into application in June 2026, fundamentally restructured how asylum claims, border procedures, responsibility sharing, and returns are managed. For many years, Europe operated under what became known as the Dublin III regulation. The principle appeared simple. The first European country where an asylum seeker entered normally became responsible for examining that asylum application. Imagine someone traveling from Libya into Italy. Under the old rules, Italy, not Germany or France, would usually be responsible for processing that asylum claim. In practice, however, many asylum seekers continued traveling north. This became known as secondary movement. Countries such as Germany and France argued that they were receiving large numbers of people who should have remained in the country of their first entry. Meanwhile, Italy and Greece argued that they were carrying an unfair burden because of their geography. What has changed? The biggest misunderstanding is that Europe has abolished asylum. This is not true. The right to seek asylum remains protected under international and European laws. What has changed is how asylum claims are handled. This is the change number one: mandatory screening at external borders. Anyone arriving irregularly is now expected to undergo identity verification, biometric registration, security checks, health assessments, and vulnerability screening before entering the asylum process. Applications from nationalities with historically low protection recognition rates will be processed through accelerated procedures close to the external border, with quicker decisions, where appropriate, faster returns. Number three, the old Dublin III framework has been replaced by the Asylum and Migration Regulation, MMR. Responsibility rules remain, but they are supported by stronger registration, clearer obligations, and EU-wide solidarity mechanism. Four, mandatory solidarity. Instead of leaving Italy and Greece largely alone, other European countries must now contribute by one, relocating eligible asylum seekers, providing financial support, supplying personnel, or offering operational assistance. This is a major institutional change, although some countries retain flexibility in how to contribute. Expanded data collection. Europe's biometric database now plays a much larger role in tracking asylum applications and limiting multiple claims across different countries. Number six, a tougher approach to returns. The EU is seeking faster removal of people whose asylum claims have been finally rejected, alongside deeper cooperation with countries of origin and transit to readmission and return arrangements subject to legal safeguards. And of course, one of the biggest problems that the European countries have had is what to do with the large number of people who have reached the final application procedures, have been rejected and need to be removed back to their home countries. As of 2019, there were at least 12,000 Nigerians in Germany who had reached the final stage of their applications and appeals and were ready to be taken back to Nigeria. But of course, it is usually difficult to deport people, expenditure, and the logistics of forcing people out of where they don't want to live. And so the German government, at a point, tried to reach agreement with the government in Nigeria to see whether it was possible for the Nigerian government to assist in getting this large number of people back to Nigeria. What do these decisions actually mean for Nigerians? This is perhaps the most important thing, is that students are not the primary target. Those traveling to Europe with valid admission, visas, and residence permits continue to use legal migration pathways governed largely by national immigration laws and may not be affected by what decisions have now been taken. Second, skilled workers remain in demand. Many European countries continue facing shortages in healthcare, engineering, information technology, construction, agriculture, and skilled trades. Legal migration has not ended. Indeed, large number of people, thousands of people, are still migrating to European countries with skills that are needed in those countries. Three, people with genuine refugee claims may still apply for protection. However, applications are likely to be assessed more quickly with greater emphasis on early screening and evidence. Four, individuals relying on irregular migration routes may encounter stricter border controls, more extensive biometric registration, and faster return procedures if they do not qualify for protection. The message from Europe is increasingly becoming clear. We still need migration. We still need people, but we want more orderly and better managed migration. The effects of this decision extend far beyond Europe. Many African governments are expected to face stronger pressure to improve identity documentation, to cooperate on readmission, to combat human smuggling, and strengthen border management, as well as negotiate broader migration partnerships with the EU. At the same time, Europe continues to encourage legal pathways linked to labor shortages, education, and specialized skills. For young Africans, qualifications, verified skills, and compliance with migration rules are becoming more important than ever. Europe has stopped migration. That is force. Legal migration continues. Myth number 2, no one can claim asylum anymore. This is false. The right remains, although procedures have become more structured and in many cases faster. Myth number 3, everyone arriving by boat will automatically be deported. This again is false. Each case must be assessed individually, but rejected applicants will now face quicker return procedures where legal requirements false. European governments are also trying to preserve the Schengen system of passport-free travel by strengthening confidence in external border management. Finally, the new European migration framework represents a significant policy shift. It is not simply about opening or closing borders. It is about moving from a fragmented system to one that is more centralized, more coordinated, more data-driven, faster, and more focused on enforcement. For Nigerians, the lesson is straightforward. The era of relying on irregular routes is becoming increasingly risky. Let me take a short time to explain something. A lot of people have run into problems, selling their properties, borrowing money, and then struggling to enter Europe without the proper papers are regretting taking such moves. Many sold their big houses and don't have where to live. There are even stories of people who have sold properties, including bank managers, gone to Europe and are living lives of destitution. Some cleaning toilets and doing menial jobs that we will not touch in Nigeria. And what is even the point in taking the risk of going through the desert? You may even be killed. You go to Libya where your organs may be harvested. You may be killed or become a sex slave. Or even if you succeed in passing these obstacles, you enter a rickety boat that takes 2 weeks or 1 month to go from Libya to shores of Europe. When planes are flying over the Mediterranean Sea, they spend 1 hour or more crossing at 900 kilometers per hour. Now you enter a rickety boat, a journey that will take you over 2 weeks. You end up there without anything. The future belongs to those who pursue legal pathways, not those who take those risks. And the future is in education, employment, professional qualification, investment, and entrepreneurship. Migration has not ended, but the rules are becoming more strict. Europe is changing. Africa is changing. Migration is changing. The question is no longer whether people will migrate. There is nothing that will stop people from migrating. The real question is whether they will migrate legally, safely, and successfully, or die trying to migrate. My name is Rimamnde Shawulu. Thank you for watching The Other Side. Please like, subscribe, and share this episode with anyone planning to study, work, or relocate abroad. See you next time.